Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to MHF. Crystal Palace, Mash, Aston Villa, Unai Emery hype, Oli Watkins hype.
Unai, not Unai. Unai, ya akhi. Say it properly. Can we respect the Spanish culture? Why are you so disrespectful to the Spanish people?
What did I say? Unai.
Good
He's not
evening.
Spanish,
My
he's
name is
Turkish.
Unai Emery. He said it 100 times. Come on, man.
Unai. He said Unai. He's Turkish.
No, you said
He's not
Unai.
Spanish.
It's
He's not
Unai.
Spanish. It's
He's
Unai.
literally Spanish. He's literally Spanish.
Ya
What do you mean he's
habibi,
not
Unai Emery is Turkish. Can you Google it?
No, he's not.
Let me Google it.
Bro, what the hell do you mean Unai Emery is Turkish? No, he's not. He's
He's
born in
Spanish.
the Basque region.
He's Spanish.
Hold that, bro. He's born in the Basque as well. I'm right. Hold
You're
that
right,
again.
You're right. Another L for
Here you go. Hondarribia is a Spanish town situated on the west shore of the blah 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 river in etc. in the Basque autonomous community. Yeah, hold that, bro.
Yeah,
He's
father
Turkish
is
heritage.
father's Basque.
Okay, and
and
you
mother
saw the
is-
name Emery and you thought directly Turkish. That's Emre, not Emery. That's different.
Anyway, big L. Where's Ahmed?
Common
Where's
law.
Dio? Oh, well, on another note, Newcastle are magnificent. Dan Burn is my favorite player at Newcastle at the current moment. The guy is I think he's the definition of an underdog story that is successful, to be honest. Dan Burn playing non-league football, reaching all the way up to his beloved club, Newcastle. He's a Newcastle fan, to absolutely smashing it in the Premier League. Fantastic by Newcastle as well. Great result, jumping to third. I know that Philip is over the moon as well. And Chelsea, 1-0 win against what's their name? What's the team they played?
Everton.
Everton. Yeah, 1-0 win Chelsea. Cole Palmer ghosting again. Ghosting in the game. Is everyone gonna disappear? What is this? Is Footy Judge Mo? It's a solo stream. I'm gonna do a solo stream where I talk to myself. Cole Palmer ghosting, another ghost performance by Cole Palmer. While on the other hand, the likes of Tonali, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, who's proving me wrong every day now, to be honest, with a magnificent performance by him. Amazing performance. Willock, a great performance by Willock. And the one that people are sleeping on and they're telling me I'm deluded is Jacob Murphy, who deserved the goal today. He was phenomenal, wasn't he, on that right side, Jacob Murphy. Newcastle are serious. And we're going to talk about, are Newcastle attractive enough? Sam thinks that Liverpool are going to get Isak. People think that Chelsea are ahead of Newcastle in terms of like the attraction. There is the Arsenal, Unai Emery talk versus Unai, whatever. Sam is saying Unai Emery talk versus Arteta. Now, it is proven that Arteta is better. Arteta would not bottle a game like this against Crystal Palace in a semi-final. They literally smashed Real Madrid. Hit the like button, people, if you are here. And Diallo, big up for being back. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. Arsenal fan here. Please speak on Emi Martinez. Listen, one thing that Footy Judge Mo loves is Emi Martinez being dunked on. Like, I like nothing more than seeing Emi Martinez in the mud. He's one of the shit house. I don't like his attitude on the pitch. I don't like how he does it on penalties or whatever things. I don't like Emi Martinez. He's a good goalkeeper. I don't like him. Penalty merchant and makes some great camera saves, concedes stupid goals. Listen, Eze showed why he's a top player, of course. Eze showed was Sar as well is amazing. He's great today. Was fantastic. But where do we start, actually? Who watched the Villa versus?
I did. It was an absolutely unbelievable game. Crystal Palace 100% deserved to win. They deserved to win that game. They absolutely deserved. First of all,
Oliver Glasner better than Arteta. We all know that. That's what
He's achieved more. He's achieved more.
Hey, if he wins the FA Cup, man, he's basically the same level.
Okay, guys, let's bring this back. First of all, big up Philip. Don't let Mo
Big
get
up.
in between us.
Is that's not your first time doing a
Never
show
said
with
that
Philip.
he's gonna get Isak. I said if they don't make Champions League football, we have a 20% chance. Imagine that's what I said. And he's trying to get between us.
Ya Habibi,
He's
Ya
trying
Habibi.
to get between us already to create fake beef.
Every time.
Mo. You see top right, MHF. H stands for me. So now you be quiet. Anyway, as I was saying,
Oh,
Philip, don't let him get between us. Don't let him get between us. You know, I did not say that. I said we have a 20% chance if Newcastle don't make Champions League football. And the thing with Unai Emery is Unai, not Unai. The thing with Unai Emery is the following. I think if I'm the owner of 15 Premier League clubs or 14 Premier League clubs that are not the big six, I'm hiring Unai Emery over Arteta. If I'm the manager of any big club, I'm hiring Arteta because the pressure at the big clubs and the big moments is different. Prime example is Emery hit himself at Arsenal. I think they needed 1 point from the last 5 games to get top 4. He bottled it expeditiously and then lost a Europa League final in Baku. And people mock Barcelona for the Origi comeback and stuff. Emery started that. He's the first manager in history to be 4-0 up in the first game and lose 6-1 in the second one. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So for me, Unai Emery, in my opinion, and this is unpopular, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think Unai Emery has low-key cost Aston Villa over these last 3, 4, 5 games. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm being dead serious. I really think his substitutions against PSG, I think his game management against Manchester City was nauseating. And I think, once again, today, the team has no balance at all. There was no balance in that team whatsoever. They needed Onana on so badly. They didn't even bring on Onana even at halftime. There was literally no balance. There was quite literally zero balance in the team. And I think he has to be held accountable. I have no idea how they beat Phillips' team 4-1, to be honest with you. I literally have no idea because they did not play like a 4-1 against Newcastle team today or the PSG game or any of the games. So, yeah. Now we can go back to the show.
Marco, can you stay in the middle? Why don't you stay in the middle? No. Why don't you stay? Is it MHF? Is it MHF? Why are you scared of the lights?
Put die on the middle.
Are you scared of the lights or something? Are you scared of like being in the spotlight and being the centerpiece of the? I thought you were like the non-humble guy on MHF. Have some shame.
But to be honest, that game today, I think the first 25 minutes for me, I first thought at first I thought that Crystal Palace would crumble when I was first watching it. Like the way they started a little shaky, but then the minute that I think the first goal was disallowed, right? Mateta's goal. That goal was disallowed, and right after that goal was disallowed, I think that just spurred them on. Like Crystal Palace literally just looked like we're going to eat you guys alive, and that's the way. That's the way. Like I think that goal being because you could see it in their faces, like they knew as soon as that goal went, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to win this game," and then it gets disallowed automatically. But Aze's goal, please, taking nothing away from Eze, right? Great shot. Great right foot, great curler. But that ball was going down the middle. What was Emi Martinez doing?
Oh,
No,
have
it
some
was a great
shame.
strike.
No, I think great curler.
You're blaming Emi Martinez for that. You're so shameful.
I'm not blaming him. I'm saying the ball was still
Worse
slightly.
than anything Mo said even at the start of the stream. Put him in the middle, Mo. Put him in the middle.
Again,
This guy's
again,
shameful.
Husam.
You're shameful. I want you to know you're
Husam,
shameful.
I am saying again, his positioning as a goalkeeper. I'm not saying that Aze's shot was not a good shot. Don't get me wrong. Emi Martinez, there's a defender. Eze is coming into that ball on his right foot. So Emi Martinez is thinking this defender is going to block the entire left side. So Emi Martinez moves to his left, takes a shuffle. And that's I'm like, what were you doing as a goalie? You don't take a shuffle to your left or your right when the ball is dead in the middle because the player can play it either way. That's what I'm saying. That you
Everyone spam one in the chat if you think Dio
What are
needs
you
to find some shame. Honestly, just spam one in the chat if you think Dio is shameful for the stake and need to.
Can we
football.
focus on the
what is
Imagine undermining the Eze goal by
I
saying
am not undermining Aze's goal, Husam.
You want to know who saves that in the entire
Husam,
planet?
I am not
Your
saying
goalkeeper.
Husam,
Your goalkeeper does not save that.
I
Are
am
you
not
aware?
saying that the goalkeeper will save it. I am talking about the goalkeeper's positioning, Husam. Big difference. I did not say even if he stood in the middle, the point is you give yourself a better chance as a goalie. Go listen to all the goal pundits, all the goalkeepers. They all said the same thing. You don't shuffle to your left and leave more space for a technical player like Eze. He's going to play an amazing shot in the first place. Secondly, you've given him space to actually play it into. And there's no way you're giving yourself a chance to stop it unless your defenders block it. So I'm not talking about, oh, he could have saved it. That's not what I'm saying. So don't change what I'm saying. I'm saying
the whole chat thinks you're shameful, which is
that's the
only
opinion.
2 goalkeepers who would have any chance in the whole
That's
world
the
against
opinion.
that.
Yeah, says Allison.
only
The only 2 goalkeepers
I think,
are Alisson, listen to him. He's going to go Alisson and blah blah. Yeah, the only two goalkeepers. Yeah,
Yeah, Alisson and
pick up the
Courtois.
keeper.
I don't think you've been a bit too
You
harsh,
got-
man. You need to give credit
Courtois.
to the attacker.
Wait,
man.
Ahmed, is it crazy? Who's the best two goalkeepers in the world?
I'd probably say Alisson and Courtois right now. Oh, that's probably
Mo, who's the best two keepers in the world?
I'm not,
Jan
I didn't say
Sommer
they're
and
not the best
Courtois.
two. I didn't say they're not the best. I didn't say they're not the best two.
Your name is
Point again.
Tactics TV, so you're very honest.
So what you're
So let
saying?
the people know
Hosam,
who's the two best keepers in the world.
Hosam, what you're saying is that Alisson would have
Let them
saved
know.
that too, right?
يا عم
Alisson would
let
have-
him
Dio,
talk.
is your
Dio,
name-
let him
Is your
talk.
name Philip Dio?
Oh, be quiet. I'm in the middle now. Be quiet, Hosam.
Philip.
Be quiet. You put me in
By the way, it
middle,
was
so be
Mo who
quiet.
said be quiet. I said have some shame. Philip,
I didn't
who's the
say
best
be quiet.
goalkeeper in the
Yes,
world?
sir. Say that again. Sorry, say that again.
Best two goalkeepers in the world right now.
Nick Pope.
On current form,
Just Philip, please don't do this. Just the two best keepers in the world. Let's
I
not
don't
over.
think- okay, so I don't think Alisson's the best two in the part of the best two goalkeepers in the world at the
Who's best?
moment. I'm not even sure if it's Courtois. I'm not sure. I don't have a best two at the moment. I'll be real. I don't think. I think Alisson, if he was less injured, then I'll put him up there. His qualities are matched, but he spends too much time injured, so he can't be there.
Sanchez
I quit.
for Chelsea today.
I quit.
Listen, man, come on, drink water, man. Chill out, please. I'm trying to drink water, man.
Again, I like how Hosam just
Disappeared when the answer he didn't like. You know what I mean?
come on, and he
Philip
likes-
didn't give him the
and he likes
line.
to change things. I am not arguing about who's the best goalkeeper in the world. I don't have anything. All I'm saying is positioning yourself better gives you a better chance of almost saving it. It's an amazing shot,
Yeah, but
an amazing shot that you probably would not save. But if you position yourself slightly better as a good goalkeeper that you are, because I think Martinez is a good goalkeeper, you give yourself a higher percentage of at least either punching that ball to the bar or something. And then we can say, oh, Eze made an amazing shot. But he moved, he shuffled to his own left. Go watch that goal again. Just before the shot was taken, and that's why when that ball just curled away to his right-hand side, he couldn't reach it. So nobody's saying that, oh yeah. But the minute I said that, what did Hosam say? Alisson will save it. My
I
friend,
wanna speak about a couple of things, to be honest, on this show, because I have a watch along. The Clásicos coming on like 45 minutes. I want to speak about a very important topic. Very important. Newcastle versus Chelsea. The reason why I want to speak about this is the last time I spoke with Philip. Philip is one of the amazing people that I speak to because he's very objective. He has a big brain over his shoulders. He knows where his club is at, but also he's not like an inferior person. So he holds the club in a high standard. We're looking at Chelsea versus Newcastle. It looks that it will go down to the Newcastle versus Chelsea game at St. James's Park to who's going to make Champions League, right? That is if Chelsea win against Man United, Newcastle win against Brighton as well. If we look at this Newcastle versus Chelsea projects, right? I had this argument with, I think, Shez. We had this argument with Don. We had this argument with Ahmed as well. If we look in the future, because both clubs are going for the lap, that's as far as I know, both clubs are going for Husam, if I'm not mistaken. Chelsea, Newcastle are inquiring about Husam and the chances. If Chelsea don't make Champions League and Newcastle make Champions League, which club would be more attractive in the summer? Is it still Chelsea, the big club with 2 Champions Leagues and that number of league titles and London and all this stuff? Or is it Newcastle with these owners and being attractive? Me and Husam had this argument and he still thinks that Chelsea are more attractive, by the way. Correct me if I'm wrong, Husam, before I lie on your name. Didn't you say that?
No, I agree. No, I agree.
Before with Wolfie and the
Action
other guys.
doesn't just come and go in one window. Everyone cut the bullshit. please.
Exactly. But if I'm looking at the two projects, if I'm a player, I'm picking Newcastle, to be honest. If they make Champions League and Chelsea don't make Champions League, I'm picking Newcastle. That is just my opinion. If anyone want to take this, go ahead.
Because I don't want to make it the same argument, because it's always going to be like, oh, Chelsea's got history, Newcastle don't, this, and the other. If I reframe it this way for myself, if I'm thinking about players, and because it's interesting what you said about Mohamed. If I was a player, I would choose Newcastle. What would be the reasons that you choose Newcastle? For me, if you're choosing Newcastle over Chelsea, you're looking over since the takeover, who have, if I'm a good player,
Progressed.
Exactly. Every player that goes to Newcastle goes from good to very good or to great. It's like, the track record is insane. Ask Tino. Livramento, ask Hall, ask
There's no
Anthony
player.
Gordon.
No.
Ask
I looked
Isak.
at it. I looked at
Yeah.
it. No player gone backwards other than Botman, who was injured.
He's injured. He's injured. Exactly.
But even his first season, he was in team of the season.
He was in team of the season. He was in the best defense in the league. And there, how many players weren't playing internationally are playing internationally? Ask Joe Linton, ask Dan Burn, or senior calls, ask Tino Livramento, ask
Lewis Hall played England.
ask all those guys. And so therefore, if you're Delap or if you're Dean Huijsen, you see these things. Yes, Newcastle aren't a worldwide and global brand as Chelsea. Chelsea have earned it. 20 years, 20 plus years of trophies and wins. I could go there and kind of have that exposure. But if my personal development matters to me, which club do I have a higher probability of improving as a player and potentially winning cups? Newcastle have this year proved that they can win trophies. And if they do qualify for Champions League, will be the second time in the space of 3.5 years. They're beginning to build a consistency of being in European. We're going to be in Europe anyway. So for me, I think you have to be a certain type of player or a certain type of personality to say no to Chelsea and yes to Newcastle. And I think that's a player that at this moment in time is a player that wants to improve, wants to grow, and wants to progress.
I mean, not just improvement alone. If you look at both clubs over the last 3 years, you would ask yourself, whether you're a good player, you're an average player, where do I have bigger and better opportunities? A Newcastle that has, since their takeover, has grown steadily, gotten in the Champions League, won a trophy since their takeover, or a Chelsea that has struggled to actually build anything over the last 3 years, spending more money than Newcastle and still not achieving anything, regardless. So you're going to ask yourself as a player, where will I thrive, right? And if I were a player, I would say Newcastle, not because I'm doing rivalry with Chelsea, but let's just talk based on whose trajectory is going up. And
okay,
right.
before you go on,
by the way, everything Dio was saying was right. And before I let Ahmed go, here's the thing, bro.
Can I read these comments first?
Everything Dio is saying is objective, but I feel like for Newcastle to be attractive more than Chelsea at this moment in time, they've got to do this again with Chelsea failing again. So, let's say next summer comes, right? Newcastle finish 3rd, Chelsea finish 5th. Not 5th because Champions League spots. Let's say Chelsea finish 6th. I agree with you. Then I think you at least have a 2-year sample size where you go like, okay, these guys know how to stay here. Because what's the key, Dio? They've been there before. Remember Dan Burn goal against PSG, these memories, etc. We've seen it before. But they didn't do it the year after. And that's why I refuse. And by the way, I understand your logic. That was my logic last summer until I looked at things a bit more objectively and I realized like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back and actually analyze how players look at things. Because I'll say the same exact thing about Forest. Hear the statement I'm about to make, and so you understand my perspective. Forest are not more attractive right now than Man United. Man United are 16th, right?
Yeah.
Forest, if I was a football player, obviously I'm a Liverpool fan, so I wouldn't. But I'm saying if I'm a random generic football player and Man United come calling or Forest come calling, I think maybe 5% of the of the 100 people would choose to go to Forest over United because of Champions League football. I think stature and status does not just go away like that. Prime example, Arsenal. 10 years ago, even though you went 10 years without a league title, you watched the likes of Ozil come to your club, Aubameyang come to your club, Lacazette come to your club, Alexis Sanchez come to your club from Barcelona. You've made massive signings. Even Mertesacker, he didn't turn out but the way he should be, but he was a World Cup winner. Same with Shkodran Mustafi, etc. So you brought in talents around the world that were wanted by many clubs, but they chose Arsenal because of your stature, because of who you are as an institution. I think it would take minimum 1 more year of Newcastle finishing in the top 5 and Chelsea not to sway people's minds a little bit. And even
I hear you, Husam. But the thing that I'm looking at again is, I said, if you look at them over the last 3 years and since the new ownerships have both taken over, this is not the Chelsea of old. This is not Abramovich's Chelsea anymore. This is a different Chelsea now. So as a player, I will look at it and say, well, if this was still Abramovich and they had a downtime, like the way things have been going, I know he's the type of owner that can turn around to me and be like, all right, get rid of all the players, buy me the best, bring me the best manager, let's just win. As a player, I want to then go to a Chelsea because I know that can be turned around. But looking at what the ownership has done so far, as a young player, I ask myself, am I just going to be part of these numbers now? Am I just going to be a Tyreek George? Am I going to get in here and be on the bench and hopefully only other play in some?
Tariq George is. I just want to just.
I know. I'm saying he's good. I'm saying he's an amazing.
Tariq George is an academy kid, so
exactly.
that's a bit different.
No. What I mean by that is like I'm saying even like as the talent that he is, they could have used him more. Like, but you're not using like as a player. Am I going to go there and become one of those players? That's what I'm looking at. But at Newcastle, if you look at the last 3 years, you can see that every player, even Tonali with his ban, came back from his ban and still looked amazing. Like you look at the way the club even treated the issue of the ban with Tonali, like the way they handle the case, the way they handle the player, the way they make sure that nobody's talking about that anymore. He came back in, nobody remembers that Tonali did anything. That's good club management. As a player, that's where I want to be. So I get it. Yeah, if you're talking about the winning side of things, they've started to show that they can win. If in 3 years they're going to qualify for the Champions League twice, that's amazing. That's consistency for me. And so, they've managed to win a trophy.
Can I hit a
3 years?
Yeah. So I big up to the Newcastle fan. I think he gave a very great point, good points, or at least on his side, which I think fundamentally are not disagreeable with. So like I think that's a very, very fair point. I think from a Chelsea perspective, what I'd probably say, I think one of the benefits, particularly when you're in like a big city, a major city like in London, that's always a benefit I'd probably add. And then I think the secondary thing is, and I'll put it like this, is that if you look at maybe some of the targets some of you guys have mentioned, right, Husam, Dilap, I would probably make the argument that these guys would probably be going straight into our team, right? I'm not, again, you can probably correct me against Newcastle, right? But would these guys be coming in straight away? For example, I don't think a Dilap would be getting in straight away for an Isak, because Isak is probably...
He'd go on the right. He'd go on the right next to Isak.
Yeah. Oh,
are you saying that Newcastle have a better team than Chelsea?
What do you mean? In terms of like, I'm just talking about the targets though. Specifically, those two targets, they're probably better than us, right? In terms
what
of
about wingers though? Would wingers get in your team?
Yeah, I think Anthony Gordon would probably get into our team.
What about a goalkeeper then? Would he get right into your team?
Who's the goalkeeper right now? Nick Pope. Nick Pope was really sure. Nick Pope is better than Sanchez, so I would have to say yes, but I would not deny that.
What about a right back? Would he get straight into your team?
No, not right back. No, right back and left back. I think we're good. That's the difference. But centre back wise, would I take Dan Burn over some of our guys? Probably would take Dan Burn over some of our guys for sure. There's no denying that. But I just think for me, again, if you look at some of the guys they already have in their team, I'd probably say they're a lot more solid, a lot more first stars right now. I think for me, if you look at Ahoyson, if you look at Dilap, those guys are gonna get guaranteed starting minutes. So for me personally, I just look at that and I'm like, we can guarantee you to start for our team. That's the one thing I'll probably say I have over them. And also the heritage argument, I don't think is as strong anymore because of the way our new ownership really interacts. And I think obviously it's been 3-4 years, and in football that's a long time. That can cloud what's happened previously quite well too. So I'll probably say it's a bit more competitive now between us and Newcastle. I don't think it's just about who's more attractive. I think we're almost at the same level now, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think if I kind of see your argument, Ahmed. I think it's a weak argument to say to a player, you will get into it's better for you to come to us because our side is weaker than Newcastle's and you're more likely to play. I don't think that's what a player wants to hear. A player wants to hear that you're a good team, that he's going to be part of a good team. Like, for instance,
one of the things I get what you mean, but one of the things I would say is that one thing about these about players these days, and I'm pretty sure we all agree with us here, is that they do care about the minutes they get in the team. 100%. And the thing is, right? And the thing is, if you can guarantee them minutes in your team, I do think that is a massive positive.
So if I kind of expand on that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, minutes on the team. So if Dean Huijsen can't beat Fabian Schär to first team place, he's got no business claiming or anybody claiming that he's going to be a future world-class defender. So he has to back himself to be able to do that.
That's fair.
And in terms of minutes on the pitch, if a player hears that I'm coming to a Chelsea, or I'm gonna use Mateus Cunha as well, or coming to Man United to make them great, rather than I'm coming to whoever said club where I can become better, I can become great. I think you're going to be attracting two different players. and not necessarily the best ones. So if a player just thinks it's better to go to Chelsea because it's easier to play for Chelsea, and rather than go to Newcastle, where it might be a bit more difficult, it might be a bit more challenging. I don't like Newcastle City as much as I like Chelsea City. You're not looking at a very ambitious player, in my opinion. There's a bit of softness to that. I prefer the luxuries of London and traveling on tubes and all of that kind of stuff.
Listen,
I want to say something
to Madrid and Barcelona, bro.
Okay, I want to say something. We're not the players. Once a football fan starts his argument with like, but we are in Madrid or we're in London, it's nothing related to the club. I know that deep down they don't believe that they are the better club. This is what they said. Like he's gonna be in Milano, like he's not gonna be in Torino. You don't believe that your team is better than Juventus or Torino, whatever. He's gonna be in Milano, not Napoli. You don't believe it. Attraction in terms of a city, does that mean Ahmed he would join Fulham over Newcastle? Because it's just,
no. But
that's why in my argument, this is.
Hold on. See the difference. Husam's argument was he started by Chelsea
club status.
Started by stature. Your argument, Ahmed, is the weakest on the space when Arsenal fans. Hey, but you're going to be in London.
But listen, I'm just comparing. Listen, I just want to be easy.
See, Ahmed. There are many clubs. There are many clubs in London. There are many clubs
in London.
Yeah,
Crystal Palace is in London.
QPR on the channel is crazy. But no, listen, the reason why I used to see argument because I just thought it's like an easy point to make realistically. But
exactly the point.
It's an easy point to, but realistically. Realistically,
but
I think realistically for me though, the point about because like the thing for me, if I look at Chelsea right now and then like I just look at some of the targets we're getting, I think really if I look at barring basically like a Delap, I don't really feel like even our targets are even the same. I'd probably say right because I'm not sure what Newcastle targets are, but
Delap, Poison, Cunha, and like those are the ones that we really kind of shied about.
Like the way we react, the way we act in the market as a Chelsea fan, we always go for a lot more younger players, right? Right. So for me, I would probably even make the argument maybe barring a Husam and Delap, us and Newcastle are not interacting even in a similar age range when it comes to players. We are. Really? Would he? Yeah. No, I've seen barring those two.
Lewis Hall.
No, but those.
Anthony Gordon was a youngster.
Okay, can I bring parameters to this debate? Ahmed, you're sinking. I'm gonna save you because I'm on your side. let me bring parameters to this debate.
Oh my God! The way you were
because there are multiple reasons. This is what I think the reasons why player X chooses club Y over club Z. Let's make this very simple. Very simple, okay? Number one, in my opinion, club status. Number two, the manager. Number three, where the club is at the current moment in time. Number four, the players that play for said club. Let's all be objective here, cut the bullshit, okay? Certain player might want to come to Liverpool to play alongside Salah. Certain player might want to go to City to play alongside Haaland. Certain player might want to go to Arsenal to play alongside Saliba. Everyone cut the bullshit. This is important. The players that the club has. And one of the things, and it's like fifth, geography. Now, I'm going to make something completely clear. I'm not even taking the piss here. I'm being completely objective.
You missed out money, though, but carry on.
No, but I was see, this is why you shouldn't interrupt. The one thing that supersedes the 5 things I just said is money. Quite literally. If you are offered an 8-year contract with 150 grand a week guaranteed for the next 8 years, I'm sorry, you're going to choose that club. Because a lot of footballers, their careers are short-lived. A lot of footballers get a career-ending injury. This is like your safety blanket. Essentially, let's look at the most bait option. Everyone here wants him. Husam. Newcastle want him. Chelsea want him. Liverpool want him. Arsenal want him. I am certain he's going to choose to go to Chelsea. Are Chelsea more attractive than Liverpool? No. Let's all be objective. Are they more attractive than Arsenal? No. They both have London, but Arsenal is a lot more stable, better manager, better everything. Are Chelsea more attractive than Newcastle in like Currently, yes, because Newcastle have to build their way towards there. Now, the reason why Hoyston will choose Chelsea over Liverpool and Arsenal is because Chelsea are going to give him that safety blanket. 8-year contract, 120 grand a week. You're guaranteed wages. And now, one of the things from the other 5 things we mentioned is one call from Maresca, Hoyston, guaranteed starter. Now you go to Arsenal and Liverpool. Are you guaranteed starter? No, because Hoyston now has to fight Konate and fight Saliba and Gabriel to start, or start right back at left back at Arsenal, and that's the point. So it's a multiple.
So can I
hold on, guys, hold on.
Let me just land on this. Let me land on this. Just the last 15 seconds, then I'm gonna mute my mic.
No, but I need to ask you something.
Wait, Man United fans over the last 3 days, and you guys have all seen it on social media, have been spamming "We're Man United" everyone on the Cunha thing. You guys have all seen it. The truth of the matter is, Cunha is different because he's a guaranteed starter at all our clubs, whether it's left wing, number 10, or striker. He would start for every single one of our clubs. If Liverpool call Cunha tomorrow, he's calling Man United saying, "Fuck off, I'm going Liverpool." So there is different elements to every. It's a unique case by case.
One question to you, Husam, before anyone answers. Chelsea offer Hoyston 5-year contract. Newcastle offer Hoyston 5-year contract. Eddie Howe calls him and says, "Come to us, you can play Champions League. This is the project. We're going to keep Isak. We have Anthony Gordon. We're signing a right winger, right? We're going to offer you the same money. You're going to start for us because we need a center back like you." Where do you think he should go? Where do you think he would go?
Where I think he should go, Newcastle. Where he will go, Chelsea.
Why?
Because club status, Mo. That doesn't go away and just because Newcastle have UCL.
But I want to address something when you said the money issue. 150K for 8 years is actually not a guarantee. When you look at how the club treats their players, 88 million on Michael Mudryk at 150K per week. The minute something goes wrong, that club tosses you out. Look at how the other club treats their players. They probably pay the same 150.
Firstly, we have to have that context of Mudryk. You can't use Mudryk because he's got an alleged case on him.
No, hold on. I'm talking about the safety. Ahmed, wait. The safety blanket that Husam is talking about is not a guaranteed safety blanket, is what I'm saying to you. Because this is the type of club who's looking at that long term.
Are you saying they played with a sample because they wanted to get rid of him?
No. Accusation.
Is that one of their loopholes? They played with the sample and they got the kid in trouble?
Not even that. What I'm saying is,
here,
I'm saying, look at how the club treats their players, even though they give them these long contracts. If you look at how Newcastle treated the Tonali issue with the gambling and the betting and the banning, and the way the club rallied around him, sorted it out, he faced his ban, came back in. Michael Mudryk, we have no idea where this guy is right now. We don't know if he has been sold to somebody. We don't know.
Hold on. No. You don't need to hold on.
Hold
on. No. Let me finish. No.
Let me land now.
Let me step in.
Can I land?
You can land, but let me, before you land, you need to get a little bit of a, you know what I mean? Like, Michael Mudryk is currently serving his ban preliminary. The B sample is still apparently taking a bit of time, and then obviously we don't know what's happening, and the case is currently with CAS.
Listen, whatever the case is,
he's not gone yet.
I have a very good argument about Chelsea. Actually, Dio is correct. Look at how they treated Gallagher, how they treated Sterling. Chelsea have a history. What if he doesn't work at Chelsea? Chelsea might send him to the youth.
That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is,
you're right here.
You will look
Chelsea,
at the way
now new owners are ruthless, and he might not like that. So that look at Sterling. Sterling might call him and say, "Don't join that club. These guys are scammers. They forced me out."
I don't know who's cool and Sterling. I don't know who's cool and Sterling, bro.
Ahmed, I'm not dissing Chelsea.
Have some shame.
I'm not dissing Chelsea. I think people want to.
What do you mean, bro? Tell me, name me a player that's cool and Sterling to find out.
Sterling is gonna call him and say,
he's cool and Sterling, yeah.
Chilwell is gonna call the guy and tell him, "Bro, they ban us. They send us. They make us eat in the bathrooms.
Listen,
we never sleep. They book us the one star.
Guess what, man? Chilwell right now.
Bro, they let us travel on train one day, travel in a private jet.
Chilwell right now is in the FA Cup.
They book us coach, bro.
Chilwell's in the FA Cup right now.
So here's but Ahmed, here's what I'm saying again, and this was to Husam's safety blanket that he talked about for like an 8-year contract at 150 with the way Chelsea is, you know that you're one of the numbers because there's a lot of talent in Chelsea. Don't get it wrong. They may not have harnessed all those talents together, but there's a lot of good talent in Chelsea. And if you are just one of the numbers and they are that ruthless, as a player, that scares me to go to such a club where I know that, listen, they can be ruthless. I'm one of the numbers. They can cut me off at any time, buy another player. I would rather go somewhere else where I know I can challenge, either be a first team player, grow under a manager. They've showed that they are going in the right direction. And that's what, and I'm just talking purely based on how I would reason and look at it. I'm not saying Chelsea is bad. This is Chelsea style. They are ruthless and that's good. They want the best for their club. If they're not good enough, they cut you out. So there's no safety blanket in that 150 is what I'm telling Husam. I would
You
rather
guys misunderstood my question completely, Buxtoy. I actually want to take that back to the original question. Which club has better future?
I think Newcastle right now. I think Newcastle, they have
in the next 5 years, which club looks more attractive in terms of like a future?
Looking at the current
thing is, I think it depends on what it depends on what you're asking for, because the reason why I say that is because from a Chelsea perspective, Esteval's coming in this season, Pines is coming in next season. We've got a lot of future top stars, that youngster stars that are coming in, of course, which is like from a Chelsea. If you're like a
they'll need a season or two to blend. They'll need
no, they need a season to blend, of course, but like remember, this is next 5 years though. You bring those type in, these guys work. These guys work. I know. I just talking about myself first. I haven't even got to Newcastle, Dio. One step at a time, brother. Please, But like from a Chelsea perspective, it's obviously like you're getting a bunch of these young, hyper quality players. If you guys work out together, you can go on to maybe be a bit more of a solid team that can go for titles, that can compete for titles. From a Newcastle perspective, I would probably argue you're almost there. That's the one thing I will give Newcastle. If you get a few more pieces in, you could generally compete for a title. From a Chelsea perspective, with the signings we're making, I don't think we can compete next season. So from that perspective, I'd probably say Newcastle.
I think it's difficult to say in terms of 5 years from now. I think because of the status and power that Chelsea have earned, they have more room to make errors than Newcastle. So we made one error in the transfer window and it cost us 18 months of not being able to buy a first team player in PSR. And had Eddie Howe not been the coach that he is, we could be in Tottenham's situation at the moment. So I guess the answer is always going to be in terms of making, for Newcastle especially, our decision making has to be a lot more surgical and on point than Chelsea's. The Chelsea model is relatively new to everybody because it's just so supercharged the way it is. It's not that it's not that clubs haven't bought young players before. They do that. Brighton do that all the time. But Chelsea's model is just so supercharged doing that. But going back to what Daya was saying and a little bit what Husam was saying is the future could be that, say, for instance, I know people might not like this player, Madueke. I think he's good. But say that there's players like Madueke or whatnot who went to Chelsea first because of the status, the history and everything else. But they end up not making the first team because they didn't really feel developed. They weren't really developed. And they end up keep going to clubs like Newcastle United where they see Tino, they see Hall, they see others. And then they go from good to great or good to very good. Chelsea players might then just say, do you know what? Over the period of time, if this continues to happen, forget going to Chelsea. Let me just skip that step and just go to Newcastle where I know I'm going to be treated well and I'm going to be respected and I'm going to develop as a player. But how many years from that is, I don't know. But for Newcastle, the margin for error, as I'm saying, is the margin for error for Newcastle is a lot more smaller than Chelsea. So I know that we're in a good moment and we've worked hard to get to this moment, but I'm not willing to get carried away with it because
I need to do I need to do the super chat. I need to do some of the super chat.
All right, go on.
I need to do the super chats, please. Is Asensio really good? Yes, he's a good player.
He is.
Yeah, for Villa, he's been really good this season since he's come for them. Yeah,
very right. Arsenal fans were told. We told you about Unai Emery, mid-table man, as Husam said. Absolutely. AMT said, isn't scoring goals the most difficult thing? Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
I mean, in the current era of football, yes, because the strikers are lacking.
If you actually look, being a right back or left back is the most difficult thing.
No. There's talent out there. It's not poor. There is talent.
You think
out
so? No, I mean,
100%.
Random, what you guys' opinion on Real Madrid crying about the referee before the game and making the highlights reel for the referee?
They should just give the cup to the other team. Forget Real Madrid.
This is not good.
This is insane.
They did this against
for the
Arsenal
Ballon
too.
d'Or. Who do you think you are? It's gone to the point with Madrid where who do you think you are?
This is the problem with the Spanish clubs. I always maintain it.
No. Real Madrid crying. Barcelona players suspended, not registered. Everything they don't like it. They won every even though I don't like Barcelona, but the reality in La Liga, Real Madrid want everything to go their way.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't go our way, they cry. In La Liga, look at us, we're treated differently. Yeah, Hamoud, Real Madrid has been like this since early 2000s.
Yeah.
The people that
man.
always like this. I grew up in the Roman era. This era will be tough.
It will be for you. If you haven't experienced, you guys are gonna find it very hard.
AMT said, I do think Maresca is a stumbling block. You've said that many times. And I actually think Maresca is a stumbling block in signing players with Chelsea. Because he's not proven, especially if he doesn't make Champions League, unless he gets sacked and you get a better manager to be honest.
You know one thing I will say about what you're saying earlier as regards to Newcastle has a smaller margin for error. Look at what Newcastle had to deal with and how Eddie Howe still dealt with the players that he had and where he's gotten the club to in 18 months where they could not sign a first team player. But then look at Chelsea in that same time, spending close to $1 billion, signing all these talents, bringing in a manager, changing managers, and still not being able to actually consistently even just challenge for top 4. That in itself will say to anybody who looks at both clubs, like, man, dude, I would rather go here. This looks more stable. With all the difficulties, you're managing the club right. You're balancing things out. On the pitch, you look good. With suspensions and whatever it is and bans on players, you still looked good. You look like you were challenging, right? So for me, that's where I would rather be, you know. And so
JC saying both Newcastle and Chelsea will win before Arsenal.
Win what? The Premier League?
Damn, what's going on?
All I have to say is that if you think Newcastle and Chelsea are in a better place than Arsenal now, your rival, your hate is just talking.
It's a lot. It's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, like your hate is just talking.
It's not even, you know what it is?
You
know what it is, Mo? It's no longer hate. It's the fact that they can't banter the Arsenal football. Like this season, we've played poorly and badly this season, but we still haven't shifted. Look, I was telling somebody, I said, Manchester City as of December was 5 points behind Arsenal. Arsenal got injured. Bukayo Saka got injured in December. He was out for 3 months. We have everybody injured. This one, everybody has injuries. No excuses. Man City spent 200 million in January to reinforce, and in April they're still 5 points behind us.
It tells you how great Arteta is.
And we're the bad team. And we're playing the midfielder as a striker. No. It's not even like we're great or anything. The point is, a manager who figured out a way to stay where his position was, knowing fully well that he couldn't catch up to Liverpool and did not drop off with everything that happened, while others are reinforcing. Come on.
Yeah, I think there's Arsenal. I think there's Arsenal derangement syndrome. Like, you know, there's Trump derangement syndrome. There's Arsenal derangement, and that's even amongst Arsenal fans who don't like Arteta, for instance. Like, there's Arsenal derangement syndrome where nobody can really sit down and objectively. About Arsenal. It's
too hard to do.
Absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane.
The problem is some of the fans are just annoying for people.
Yeah, I understand that.
People like, Igal is so annoying. Dayo is very annoying. So they banter, but like they can't speak objective about the club.
Listen, man, it's gonna be interesting if you do, like, you know, obviously don't make it to the end of the UCL. You know, it's gonna be interesting what the sentiment is going to be then, you know what I mean?
Oh no, the sentiment for me is
it's very strange. Chelsea fans are struggling to get to the Champions League after spending that much money, and they're telling Arsenal fans that are in the Champions League semi-final humbling Madrid, it's gonna be a talking, like we're gonna talk to you in the summer. I'm like,
you know, I want to say this.
I'm gonna see the mirror, bro. We're gonna start asking you questions. Ahmed, you might be
the only reason why you
listen,
might make
I think
Ahmed, do you know something? Ahmed, the only reason why you might make Champions League if you come fifth is because of us. If we did not make it to the semi-final, no, let me just let you know that your fifth place slot that you are battling for, that your life depends on as a club right now, that you guys are literally like, we got to make Maresca's got to be fifth position. If we did not make it to the semi-final, there will be no fifth place for you two. You would not have made Champions League this season.
He's right.
So thank your lucky stars that we are
Conference League for that.
Thank your lucky stars that we Mikel Merino as a striker, we are at least giving you a chance. So
I want
get
to say
the
thank you
Champions
to the
League.
Conference
No,
League, man. Thank you to
Wallahi,
the Conference
Ahmed,
League.
what you just said is one of the main problems in
It's
YouTube.
the,
Someone,
What
bro,
is
like
it?
someone
Yeah.
is struggling to get Champions League football, spending that much money, and like 3 years in the project. When is the last time you were in the Champions League?
Sorry, like literally.
Literally before the Boli era.
No, we in the winter. No, in his first.
No,
season.
no. Do not lie.
No, we
The
went
last
first
time you
season.
qualified for Champions League football was under Abramovich, and then
No,
he
but-
sold the club.
Yeah, but
and
we were
then
still in the
he
first
sold
season.
it.
Under his first
guess-
season, though, we were in the UCL football because I actually went to a game. Quite
He started counting years on his one hand.
No,
and
it
then
was 2 years.
But
I
a
have to remember what year, but it
couple
was,
of more years, it's gonna be another hand.
It's only
and I'm
been
like,
2 years
I'm
actually.
running out of
They've not been
fingers.
the UCL right now. It's only been
And
2
that
years.
is the problem. Questions will be asked. For Arteta.
But
I'm telling you,
but you can't do this.
I'm telling you.
But no, you can't do
You
this
know, but
because.
hold on.
Wait, let me explain.
Hold
Let me
on.
explain.
No.
Because-
I'm
No,
gonna
no.
need to- I need
No,
to
no, 'cause
explain.
No, because
need to
I
explain
understand,
this.
but like the point I'm trying to make is, yeah, I hold my own club to.
You lost.
No,
You're
it's
sinking
not
on
lost.
the stream.
It's not.
You're sinking
I'm
on the
not-
stream,
Oh,
bro.
no, it's like
you gone
I
swimming
made my
today.
point
You gone
that
swimming
I
today,
speak-
man.
no, I always speak on my club. Is it what? So what? Oh, I'm
hope
not
you-
allowed to speak about another club.
I hope
I
you-
don't
I hope you
understand
got
what-
your-
No,
I hope you- I hope you
hold
got
on.
your
You
swimsuit
are.
on.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. But if you say, okay, here's the thing. Chelsea fans, you were saved by this ownership. You know why? Because they hired Potter, Lampard, Pochettino, and then they hired Maresca. But the reality is the project has not restarted. It started the day they bought the club. It has
Yes,
been
I
going
agree.
for 3 years. And if this third year you don't make champ, it has 3 years now.
It started
At
out
the end of-
obviously in January, but I'll say 2 years. It's been 2 years now. So
Like,
Oh, this is what I'm
guys,
talking
it's
about.
obvious. It's so bait to say the
No.
Chelsea project has failed. Can we all cut the fucking fuckery right now? Like,
It is failing.
everyone
It's
is
just-
just trying to yoke
No,
us,
no,
stretch
it is-
this fucking bullshit. They were supposed to make Champions League football anyway last season. They didn't. They're supposed to make it anyway this year, and now they've got to play Liverpool, Newcastle, and Forest, and blah blah
Well, we'll
blah.
see what happens.
So now
We'll
they're not
see
gonna
what
make it this
We'll
year.
see what happens.
Everyone
Yeah.
established-
We'll see what happens.
it's
That's what I'm
established
saying,
something.
like that.
People always tell me, 1 second, people always tell me, oh, this no one wants to live in Liverpool, Husam. Ha 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 ha. They want to go live in London. Ha 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 ha. Arsenal are in London. So why the fuck would anyone with a sound reasoning and intellect choose fucking Chelsea over Arsenal? And on top of all this, I dare anyone right now tell me that Caicedo and Lavia do not go to bed every day regretting for the rest of their life
I
that
don't
they
think
chose
so.
this. Let me speak. Don't. Why are you disrespecting the? I'm literally doing like I'm doing a thing right now. Let's start all over. And please don't try to convince me that Caicedo and Lavia right now are not going to sleep every day regretting for the rest of their life their decision to choose Chelsea over Liverpool. You want to know why? Because Caicedo would have been minimum one Premier League winner, and he would have definitely won a domestic cup. And as a matter of fact, Caicedo would probably been better suited for the Klopp system and better suited for the slot system. And he would have had his partner in crime at Brighton, McAllister. So he would have won a Premier League minimum and minimum one, because we could have won it even last year. And he would have won a domestic cup. So he would have had 2 medals. Instead, the world is now talking about Declan Rice scoring 2 free kicks against Madrid. And what are we talking about more? Caicedo versus Rapid Vienna. Oh, wow. Look at him locking up those Australian electricians. Oh, look. The electricians in
This is
Austria
a
are
guy.
being
This is
locked
a guy.
up.
that
Can
is,
I tell you guys?
from 2
Can I
years
tell you
ago.
guys? Can I tell you
That
guys
was
something?
2 years
Hold
ago.
that,
Can I tell-
Caicedo.
I want to tell you guys something that
He's gonna
people
clap
don't-
for us next week, him and Lavia both, as we're
don't talk
entering
about
the
enough.
Caicedo and Lavia.
Do you think I actually care like that? We
Nah,
can't be? I have
bitch, you
bigger
could be
problems.
wearing
Yeah,
this-
I'm
Sorry,
and
but
I
wearing
want to
this
get the
team
point
style-
across because I need to.
Color.
Okay, I want to get some. Do you guys know there's one thing that people don't speak about enough? Abramovich, before he leaves, do you know that he spent a lot about getting Serie A's best defender to Chelsea, Aubameyang to Chelsea. He got, I think, who did he buy? Kukurea
He didn't
that
buy
summer.
He didn't buy them. He
No,
was
no,
not
I'm
him.
sorry. Let's address this.
That was
Chelsea
not
won
him.
the Champions League in
It was
21.
no, no. It was
Oh, wait,
Burley
hold
who
on.
brought them. It was Burley who brought was it called?
JC,
Bruno
fantastic.
Hold on, that was 22, 23
Fantastic
seasons.
super
That
chat,
was-
JC.
No, no,
I
no,
want you
no,
to
no,
open
he
up
didn't
your
buy-
phone, ask Siri, ask Google, ask Pixel. What is the time today? What is the date today? Wow.
My
Because
God.
you're no longer owned by Abramovich. You're no longer coached by Tuchel. You don't even compete in the competition.
That
You're
was,
fucking
yeah.
cheating.
Okay. Anyway, alas, no. Genuinely, Bowley actually brought Koulibaly. That is literally post
Hold on,
Abramovich.
how?
Because
so
they were
when
born in
did-
the summer.
Only
They were
bought
born in the summer.
Koulibaly more, he did.
Yeah, it was in the summer. It was in the summer that they got brought in.
So
Koulibaly
22,
got-
23, 23, 24, 24, 25.
Yes.
So basically, okay, so I correct you now. So this project has been going for 3.5 years now. By the end of the season.
The reason
Okay, I'm
why I
not
said it
following
was
here.
no. The reason
Is
why I
it
said that is
mine?
because the essentially the project started in the January transfer window. If you remember that's when we brought Enzo. When we brought Kuzoma, that's when the directors came into the team.
No. I don't care about the directors. This ownership, when did they take over?
They took over. Obviously, yes, I agree with you in the summer, but
In
they
January 22.
It wasn't January. It's like April, May. It was April, May. when
Okay,
they took over.
so basically 3 years now under this ownership. They bought
Yes,
you
I agree.
Koulibaly, they bought you Aubameyang, they bought you all of these, Raheem Sterling, they bought you all of these people. Yet we're sitting here, Chelsea are fighting Nottingham Forest for top 5.
Yes, I know he's wrong. I don't know why he's saying this. Like, I don't agree.
Yes,
He's
let's
not going
enter
to failure.
Arsenal because in 3 years they came second.
That's the point. That is
And they
No,
are
but
in the
listen,
semi-finals
two things
smashing Real
can,
Madrid.
no,
yes.
but again, two
Let's
things
do
can be
this.
true. I can criticize my own club. I criticize them on a week in, week out
Mo
basis.
is
when
such a
they've done wrong.
fraud, the way that
Yeah,
he
and at the
speaks.
same time, I can also criticize another team. What?
No.
Am I not-
Mo is
am I
saying,
not-
no. I mean, you're missing it.
It's the
You're missing it.
comparisons, though. It's the comparisons.
You're saying, if Arteta doesn't win the Champions League, questions are to be asked. When your own club can't even get into the Champions League.
Yes, and
And
the
you're
question should
saying-
also. The question should also be asked of them too. So I don't see what the issue is. The issue is either.
Yes,
trying to
yes,
win the
of course.
Champions League is
Yes,
different.
because Ahmed, when the draw was made, he said the Arsenal are favorites. They should win the Champions League.
Did you say
Exactly.
Arsenal are favourites?
You're the biggest liar and
I didn't say
gaslighter.
that. I didn't say that.
Of course, you didn't say that. That's
I
his
didn't say
point.
that.
That's his
No,
point.
I didn't say you're gonna be Real Madrid. I didn't say you're gonna be Real Madrid, by the way. But
No, but that's most
I didn't
point.
say
So that's what I'm saying. That's most point. You already said at the beginning of the season with Champions League that we're not going to win. So why you say questions need to be asked?
I would probably, but I would make. But listen, that's fair.
Well,
No.
Arsenal are gonna lose in the final. 1-0. No, let's ban.
Let me say.
No, but that's fair. No. But
listen,
listen, that is fair. No.
Ahmed, just in 1 minute.
That is fair. That is fair.
I
But
did not think-
expectations change too.
Listen,
Expectations
Ahmed,
also
Ahmed,
change.
listen,
So
I
that
did
is
not
also
think that
true.
Chelsea. Listen, I don't think Chelsea will make Champions League, right? So I'm not going to say, oh, questions need to be asked if you don't make Champions. This season, I don't think you'll make Champions League, and if you make it, you superseded my expectation.
That's
Kudos
fair
to you.
enough.
No, kudos to you. Well done. That's the way I look at it. I'm not going to turn around and be like, oh, questions need to be asked because I already think you're not going to make it there. Like that's my prediction is that Chelsea will not qualify for Champions League. So why should I then say if Maresca doesn't qualify for Champions League as an Arsenal fan, they need to fire him? No, I'm not going to do that. What she said.
No,
at
I
the
hope
beginning
they
of
keep
season-
him.
What she said at the beginning of the season was that Arteta is not good enough to make Champions League to even qualify for the finals. We're not going to win it. So why are you now saying when Arteta is in the semi-final, suddenly questions need to be asked if Mikel Arteta does not win? Your expectations
There's
are
another thing. Oh, by the way, there's another thing. Roman Abramovich left a team that won the Champions League. You guys bought superstars after superstars, players after players, and the trajectory has been going down. While Arsenal, Arteta took over the team. Yes, he came eighth. And then 5, second. At least he's stable. At least.
Okay, so
Ahmed,
yeah,
if your point was consistent, if you were consistent, you would say, not that questions are to be asked, but wow, Arteta's exceeded my expectations, and like, let's see where this goes. Like, but you're kind of saying, I didn't think they're going to win it. Now, if he doesn't win it, we need to ask questions. Like, there really
You want a
wasn't no
Chelsea
question.
fan to be honest, that's never going to happen.
no,
It's
but
never gonna, yeah, but yeah. But I guess for the good of like,
Ahmed, be honest, has your project failed? Be honest right now.
as
never
of currently,
joining
it has
MHF
failed.
again.
I already
He's
said this
never
already.
joining
Why
MHF
we
I know,
why
I know.
we keep asking me a
It's-
question that I've answered already? Like I said, yes, right now it's failed. So like,
So how
why-
can anyone say Chelsea is more attractive to Arsenal?
I didn't say that. Who said that?
Who said that?
No
Who
one
said that?
Who
Nobody said
no one said
No
that.
one said that.
No one
So
said
Mo,
that.
Mo just brought up an argument out of nothing? Fair
Yeah,
enough.
Habibi, no, Ahmed. We're talking about everything at Chelsea, and Ahmed started saying, and also Arteta will be asked the question.
Arteta will be asked questions.
So what?
Let me ask you a question. Ahmed, let me ask you a question. Do you think Arteta will win the Champions League? What?
I think
No, let me ask. Mo, I want to ask a direct question here. Say, Ahmed, me and you, Ahmed. Do you, Ahmed, think that Mikel Arteta can win the Champions League?
I think he can win the Champions League, but in my
Do you
personal
think he's
opinion,
going to win it?
but in
I'm
my
asking you-
personal opinion, my favorites are Inter Milan. That's my.
I'm not asking who your favorites are.
are.
I'm asking, do you think Mikel Arteta?
I said
can
yes. I
win
said
the
yes. I did say yes. I think there's a
So
good
good.
chance there.
So that means that because you think he can win the Champions League, if he doesn't win it, you can ask him questions because you've literally said, "I think this man can win it."
The last
But
four teams. Yes, I would agree, yes.
listen. But before he got to the semi-final, at the beginning of the Champions League run, when we looked at the table and we looked at the league play and everything, you didn't even think he was going to make top 8. You said we were not going to be there. You said Arsenal might do a playoff. Everybody said all kinds of things. Now that he's reached,
I remember saying that. But
no, not you directly. I'm
yeah.
saying like that was just
Yeah.
the sentiment of everybody. Now that he's in the semi-final, suddenly their expectations for him has changed, and now they want to start talking. Oh, if he doesn't win it, we need to ask him. That's not how to banter.
That's how it is.
I mean, it don't make no sense. Yeah, but yeah, let's carry on.
I think Ahmed,
Carry
you thought
on.
that, you know, when the season is ending, now people are like, the people are sobering up from the banter and like reality sitting in, and I think you're catching flack of it, Ahmed, where we're now sitting down, we're like objectively looking at teams and we're saying, nah, this is things are a little bit more different than what the banter thing that we're saying. Like we're actually sober in what we're saying. So you're kind of catching the end of it, Ahmed.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I said at the beginning of the season, and I think Mo in one of our first streams, I said all I expected from Mikel Arteta this season. I even gave him a low bar. I said, win me 2 League Cups, right?
2
Make
League
it
Cups this season.
Yeah, that's what I said. Win the
can
FA
win
Cup and Carabao. I don't. That's what I was like. Yeah, that's what I said. I said just win the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and I will fire you and bring somebody else. But just win something because you spent 5 years. Like that's the way I set it up. I was like, you just go ahead and do that. Make it to the semi-final in the Champions League. If this guy makes it to the final, he's exceeded what I expected of him this season. He literally exceeded what I expected. I assumed, I was like, you know what? Last season, you made it to quarterfinal. This season, make it to the semi-final. Win the FA Cup or win the Carabao Cup and make it to the semi-final. And then we can look at saying, okay, if we're going to keep you, we need to spend more money. And if we're not going to keep you, we get rid of you, bring a better manager and spend the more money to actually be a better team, right? And that's it. It's simple business, you know? So when people start saying things like, oh, well, he's not going to even make top 4. And then he exceeds all of that. Then suddenly they turn around. If he doesn't win
That's
it, I'm like,
that
yeah,
was a bit
you can't keep kicking the can down the road.
Super chats. A couple of them before I go to the watch along.
And to everybody in the chat saying second place, the professionals or whatever it is, we have the 3rd most league trophies in the league. Yeah, every single one of you have not caught up yet. We have the 3rd most.
This feels like the National League top panel. It's very top until Ahmed said Arteta, whatever.
Oh wow.
Chelsea one, we did that one. AMT is saying against Everton, commentary mentioned Caicedo was brilliant. He was very good.
But it wasn't hard to be a brilliant player in that game. They were saying about Enzo, Caicedo. Everton were doing the best to help Chelsea.
Everton
were best to help Chelsea win. It's insane that this commentary that they
but
were
we
doing
needed
was
that, man.
insane.
But we needed that, man. I'll be honest, we needed that, man. So it is what it is.
Dennis Pele, who was better in the Champions League till now, Inter or Arsenal? I have to say Arsenal winning against Real Madrid by definition makes their campaign more successful.
But I
hold on, you don't understand. But hold on. There is a difference. He asked which campaign is better.
And
telling me which team is better. I think Inter are above.
I'm talking about even the campaign as well.
Inter right now are better because they have the strongest defense in the whole competition.
No. I don't think you understand. Who was better? Who was?
Like,
who was better in the Champions League until now? Inter or Arsenal? I answered it. Inter because they have the strongest defense in the whole competition from the start till now. What's the problem with my answer?
Arsenal conceded less at the current moment.
Yeah, but Inter is the only team that beat
now.
But if you look at it head to head,
we conceded more now.
But yeah, the only team that has beat us as well. So what you
guys don't understand. The fact that you beat Real Madrid home and away makes that campaign at the current moment more glamorous.
Like that, yeah.
It's more glamorous.
Right? Glamour is good and all.
Or you beat Bayern. Why are you acting like you beat nobody?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we beat them away and we drew at home. They beat Real Madrid. Okay, I need to start the watch along, so we're not gonna argue this.
Mo, all I'm saying is I agree with you.
How is the team that beat Real Madrid home and away the holders? Nobody's inferior to them in the competition.
How is the team that beat Arsenal the team that beat Madrid home and away? Not part of the competition now. How is
You
the
don't
team that
understand
beat
the
Arsenal
point.
that beat Real Madrid?
I don't think you understand the point.
I
Come on. I
understand
don't think
the
you all
point.
understand the point.
I don't want
Is
you to
there a
put us in that
distinction
light. I
between
know what you're trying to
regression
do.
and
No, there is no
failure?
distinction because if you regressed, you have failed.
No,
Simple
but
as.
with regression though, because whenever you're going towards something, it's not like a straight trajectory. There's ups and downs and ups and downs. So you can go up, you can go down. But so long as your trajectory is still going forward, you're right. Failure means you're the end of something. You failed. That's it. There's no going back. So if, for instance,
Oh, I hear
regression
what
is
you're
slowly,
saying.
yeah.
Regression is slowly.
Regression means
Regression
means failure. Regression instantly is failure. Failure is not instantly regression. That's the
I
truth.
agree.
So, like, if
I'm
the
gonna go
quadruple
do
third
my
season
watch
when
along.
Liverpool won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup only, I said we failed, but we did not regress.
Sam, continue with the watch along. I'm gonna fix this to 4.
Suddenly he wants to do حط الأربعة. Yeah, thanks. Do the 4th thing and then piss off. Wow, the 3 suddenly is a lot better. So yeah, I think you can fail without regressing. You get me? That's
it's the other way. It's the other way around. So say, for instance, you're trying to lose weight, and for 10 weeks you're doing well. You're eating well. You're hitting the gym, and then there's one day you gave up. You had a big cheesecake. You failed to go to the gym.
The cheat day.
You regressed, but it's not over. The next day,
it's the other way around. Forget gym analogies. Let me explain to you what I mean. Let's look at Arsenal. Okay.
Yeah.
Arsenal they went second 2 years in a row, right? If Arsenal went third this season, it's regression.
Or
Correct?
third place if they finished.
Finished
third. Yeah.
That's regression.
If it was like you finishing,
But if they finish second again, that's not regression, but that's failure. Every time you regress, you have failed by definition for that specific season. But you can fail without regressing. So if Arsenal finish second,
that's
for
how
the
you're seeing it. I
four
understand how you're
years,
seeing it.
they never
I understand how you
regress,
see
but
it,
they've
yeah.
failed every single year.
I understand how you see it. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So regression equal failure always, but failure not always equal regression. Because when quadruple charge season, I said Liverpool failed because we didn't win one of the 2 big ones, but we didn't regress.
I thought he was harsh. I listened to that stream. I thought he was very harsh on the team. We all are harsh on our teams. I thought this guy just won 2 domestic
And that
cups.
team that we had was way too good to just leave with the FA Cup and Carabao Cup.
But do you feel like you sucked the joy out of it? Like, because I'm like, I thought that was incredible. That's something to enjoy. You sounded more upset and angry. I was like, man.
Yeah, because the team that we had, once again, if you have
they're like 2
Lamborghini,
games away though. The thing is like, when
if you had a
away,
Lamborghini and you
hard.
race against a
It's hard,
Ferrari,
man.
like you can beat it. So because you got a Lamborghini, but if you're in a Honda Civic, you'd go like, "Yay, I almost got there." But I wasn't in a Honda, bro. At the time, we had Salah, Mane, Jota, Firmino was still there, by the way. At the time, that was pre-Nunes right there. That was Thiago Alcantara playing 30-something games. That was Naby Keita being fit. That was Fabinho. That was Henderson in their prime. Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez. It's Konate. Like that team was nowhere near just Carabao Cup and FA Cup.
And you know what? Sometimes, when you do a double, it's better to have a big trophy with it alongside you. I'll be honest, man.
Yeah,
If you want
exactly.
like a Premier League or like a Carabao or Premier League.
Like I would have traded the Premier
Champions
League
League
alone for both FA Cup and Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
I guess
I understand that.
differently.
And that's the thing about it. Like you need to. I look at my club and I'm like, okay, what have we won and what have we not won in our history? Right? We've never won the Champions League. For me, I would take the Champions League over a Premier League because I already have 13 of those. Like right now, not that the Premier League is not important, but I would rather go for that one. That like we have the most FA Cup, so why am I chasing the FA Cup? Like I would rather chase something. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Like go hard on that. Like I'm talking from the perspective of like if I ran the club, right? So I don't. Yeah, if I was the one running the club, my goal would be that. And then when I get that, I can then go back and say, well, now let me come and add more.
Also have to
add
live
more Premier Leagues.
I think you also have to live in the present of your club, meaning
True.
all the players in your Arsenal have never won anything, right?
Oh no, but
So therefore winning something.
but they've not won anything together. Individually, they've won something. Kai Havertz is a Champions League winner. Jorginho is a Champions League winner. There's people in the
But
club.
not at Arsenal.
Hold on, listen, hold on.
Yeah.
I know that's something as a team. Thomas Partey played with Atletico, made it to the finals of the Champions League. These players have actually played in that competition. Thomas Partey played in Spain and played against Real Madrid consistently over 30-something games, right? I mean, in his history there. Like, so we have players in the squad who have actually played. We have Odegaard who was at Real Madrid. He may not have played a lot of games, but he understands the essence of the Spanish
No,
league.
but what I'm saying is, as a team.
So my point is,
so for instance, like the difference between Liverpool at this current stage and Arsenal is that they're about to win their second Premier League trophy. They've got multiple domestic trophies. They've got the European trophy. As a team, Van Dijk, for instance,
yeah.
Salah, Alisson,
they've got trophies together. Like
Together, I know. I hear that.
like,
I hear that. That's what I'm saying is that
and that genuinely creates
that
like
creates
a
a
bond.
bond.
That's what Chelsea did actually over a 20-year period.
And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. I agree with you that they've not won it together as a team. Arsenal hasn't won it together as a team, and that's important. That has to happen. Otherwise, the players become very disconnected. But as individual players, they can't tell me from their professional jobs that they've been doing for years where they've won stuff that they don't have a winning mentality to now galvanize themselves together with the manager and say, listen, hey, we can.
I'm tapping into what you said about I've seen my team's won, my club's won 13 trophies, therefore I don't really need an FA Cup type of thing. And I'm saying, no, that's you as a Dio Arsenal fan, but Arsenal, the current team, haven't got trophies. So therefore, if you're just like, you're looking at, I understand why. I'm not saying don't aim high, but like also enjoy trying to. I think Arteta's mistake is not trying to go for
this team may not have won anything major with Arteta, but they did win an FA Cup. It's not the same squad, but there's that there that Arteta can point at. And now I'm not defending him. What I was saying is, if I'm the owner of Arsenal, like if I took over the club today, I'd say, well, I know we've won leagues before. We haven't won it in 20 years. That's important. We're going to go after it. But the one trophy that really just eludes us is this Champions League. I will buy players and set up the team in such a way that that's what I will gun for.
But you can't win a Champions League in isolation. You need to be able to team that wins stuff. So Liverpool didn't just win a Champions League out of like, not winning anything. Here's a Champions League.
There's many teams. Hold on. There's many teams that have gone to this Champions League competition in the history of it for the first, like in the 1-1. The teams, a lot of teams have won and have never come back and won anything there again. A lot of teams. You can go look at the history of Champions League winners. There's many teams that have just one individual trophy.
Liverpool 2005.
Yeah. So let's not make it seem.
No, but Liverpool won League Cup then.
I know.
Liverpool won the League Cup before that.
FA Cup 2006.
I know, but but you're missing my point.
But from 2006 until 2012, we won nothing.
They won nothing for 6 years.
Okay.
So my point again is, I'm not saying that you should not be a team that wins. You should. But I'm saying if I became an owner, my target would be different. And the kind of players I would bring, I would be that guy that would do what PSG did when they brought Neymar and co. Like, that's my mentality. Bring in the best manager, best players, and just gone for this. Like, when you get that,
I understand what you're saying.
That comes into the
Arteta's closer to 7th place than Liverpool, is what Denishan is saying.
Yes.
This comes back to the previous super chat. Is this a regression? No, because factually you're in 2nd place. Is it failure? Yes.
Yeah, because we didn't fail to win it this year. Yeah.
That's it.
But it's not regression.
It's regression, but it's failure. You can't regress if you're at the same exact position. Husam, factually, the Arsenal defense is better. Yeah, I saw. I checked. I didn't know that Inter conceded against Feyenoord. I thought they kept 2 clean sheets, but they did concede. I don't know what footy judge most club is doing, to be honest.
But Inter was the only club to beat Arsenal as well, so that counts for something.
Yeah, this is true.
In the Champions League, I mean that counts for something. So
United regression, Arsenal failure, correct? No. United is not just regression. United is regression and ultimate failure. United, you don't just say the word failure.
They've had something worse than regression. They've had something worse than regression. This is like
I love how
I don't even know what like a synonym for regression that's way worse.
It's worse than that because they went from, I think it was 8th they finished last season, right? They're currently, I think, 16th or 17th right now in the league, bro.
Yeah,
they're like double the position that they were previously down.
That's not regression. That's you've sunk, mate. Like
you're literally
you're drowning.
You're basically the anchor. You're like an anchor in the shop.
If you remember in the last stream that we had, when I said, you guys watch out for Newcastle now that they can spend money. Now that they can spend money, watch out for Newcastle.
If they make Champions League.
Listen, I've been reading some stuff about your club.
Hopefully not.
Man, you guys, your owners, I don't like where this is going. Now
Alexander, you know what to do.
Ooh, let's just wait.
You know what to do, Alexander. Come, let's achieve
we thought Abramovich was the money spender. You're about to
JC,
see the real
you're
guy.
a Chelsea fan, if you finish 6th again, you didn't regress, but you failed. That's the point.
He stagnated. It would be stagnation.
No, Chelsea's going to finish 7th this year. They're not going to win.
It's not black and white. There's stagnation in the middle.
Stagnation, yeah.
Anyway, Big up to all of you guys. This has been a very fun stream. Thank you guys so much for joining us, all of you guys. All the channels are in the description. Go give the Bridge Nation, Toon Tactics TV a subscribe. I'm gonna add banter on the pitch as well. You wanna know why I'm gonna add banter on the pitch? Because Mo cannot do his job properly. So speaking of Mo who cannot do his job properly, let's irritate him. How? I would rather regress than fail. But you've completely missed the point. If you've regressed, you've failed 100%. That by definition. I'm here. I go further back. I have regressed and failed. I'm here. Next year, I'm still here. I haven't regressed, but I've failed. You cannot say I would rather regress than fail because regression equal to failure by definition.
Okay,
If
so
you
I think Husam, I think what the issue is you are using failure in two ways. You're saying, so I think there's three positions you can be in. You can either regress, be stagnant, or fail. Like it's either or. Like if you say because I'm stagnant.
No, I agree.
fail.
I agree.
Yeah, so I think
people are lost in translation because, like, maybe here, like for me, when I'm hearing failure, it's like an end point.
It's an end point.
Like there's nothing else to go on. So it's like an ultimate thing. I think what Husam is saying is kind of like it's not an end point, whereas regression is. Like you're kind of going like So we're kind of seeing it
based on your objectives for the season, what you're trying to accomplish. It's based on a lot of things. Like if Arsenal win the Champions League, they haven't regressed and they haven't failed, despite the fact that they finished second. Like they've actually overachieved, if anything, if that happens.
They've actually achieved one of their goals, which is to win a trophy together as a team.
No, they have not achieved one of their goals. They've overachieved because this is something that's never happened before.
But hold on. What do you mean by you can't? It's not
Arsenal winning the Champions League is overachieving because they were not even top five.
For some, at the beginning of the season, every club sets out to win. That means you achieve one of the goals that you set out. You say to yourself, "I want to win something this year," right? And you go for it. So for you,
you're missing the point. You're going down a hill. I don't want you to go down. I'm saying the reason why Arsenal winning the Champions League is overachievement is because at the beginning of when the Champions League first started, Arsenal were not even top 5 favorites.
So the Liverpool underachieved this season by not winning the Champions League because they were top of the table in the Champions League and they should be.
But you once again you misheard me.
That's a question you should also ask.
No, you misheard me once again.
No,
Liverpool
what you're saying. Liverpool
winning the Premier League is overachieving. Because once again, we were not even
talking about the champion. I'm talking about Champions League in the Champions League. I'm not saying
no. I don't do this. I don't do this whole failed in this competition.
So exactly. Which is
talking about the whole season as a total.
The whole season as a
totality.
Arsenal set out to win.
Okay, let's use a different club just to understand what I'm saying. Where are Spurs in the league right now? 17th. If they win the Europa League, they have succeeded. They've done. Regardless.
Yeah, they've achieved one of their goals. They wanted to win the trophy this season. Yeah, they've achieved the goal. So
I understand what you're saying, but you're missing my point.
No, I hear your point. My point is your definition of it being an overachievement. When a club sets out to win a trophy in the season, they also want to make sure that they at least are playing well. Now, if you don't play well and you achieve one of your goals, which is win a trophy, that is not overachieving. You set
us winning the Premier League is overachieving. You winning the Champions League is also overachieving.
Did you not set out to win a trophy this season as Liverpool?
No, because when the season first started, 90% of the people said Arne Slot's first season.
No, that's them. I'm asking you. Did you not set out?
But I'm included in the 90%. We've only signed Federico Chiesa. We're going to finish third and win a domestic cup. So me going from finishing third and winning a domestic cup to winning the Premier League is overachieving.
Well, that's
if you ask all Arsenal fans at the beginning of the season and most people, top 3, top 4, top 5 favorites to win the UCL, no one would have had Arsenal in there, which is why them winning the Champions League is overachieving. And that's the point.
You know,
so we overachieved and you overachieved. Both overachieved.
Okay.
City winning the Premier League is not overachieving.
We'll leave it to the audience.
We'll agree to.
We'll leave it to the audience.
Okay. Do you think City winning the league last year was overachieving?
No.
Okay, I agree with you.
No, because I thought that
they were pound for pound favorites to do it.
Yeah.
So they haven't overachieved. They've just achieved what they set out to achieve.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's in the middle. But Arsenal beat PSG before. Why now different? Inter beat Arsenal before too. I hear you, but I do think teams, listen, comparing teams in August versus how they are in May, I think is a rabbit hole you do not want to go down. And trust me, I've done this before myself, because teams in August versus teams in May is two completely different things. So
I just think it's also through form, innit? Just in general, sometimes when you're facing a team much early in the season, they're not in their gears together. So maybe they've got a bunch of new players.
Yeah.
Dembele didn't even play the first game. Kvaratskhelia wasn't a PSG player, as an example.
Exactly, bro. Dembele was like was a completely different player.
Yeah,
He is right now, bro.
No, it's
Inter actually, because they're a bit older, might be physically regressing towards the end of the season. That's another thing.
And you know what? You're right. Dembele was
They're
not
very
there.
old,
Dembele was
by the
not there.
way.
The same way
35, 36,
Mikel Merino was not
37.
scoring 7 out of 7 and 3 G in 10 games. So teams the way they were in August. I know how they
Marino wasn't a goal scorer up until now. So that's what
the same way teams are.
So like the point I think that's the point is like I think situations change. This time in November I was second in the league. Right now I'm fighting for second place. It's an easy example.
Yeah, no. Actually, this is a perfect example because Leicester wanted to avoid relegation. But when they were top of the league and they were 6 points ahead in fucking February or March, it would have been failure to not win it. So I agree with you. The context of the season itself matters too. I do agree with that. Anyway, guys, we can wrap up the stream here. We don't need to do any extra nothing. Just spam Lautaro in his chat. Everyone knows the hatred that he has for Lautaro. That's it. Just take this word, spam the shit out of it in the Mo chat. I'm gonna spam it as well because it irritates him.
They're not
and I love to irritate him as well. You get me? So I love to irritate Mo. How can we irritate him? No. He hates Lautaro even more. Just spam Lautaro on this guy, bro.
Okay. Let's keep here pushing, man.
Diallo. Stop.
Spam Lautaro in Mo's chat.
Yeah.
Peace out.
You're a fraud.